I'm tired to talk about my own music, man. You asked about something that I was like, yeah.
Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. My name is Belgian Jasper. If this is your first time in the channel, hit subscribe right now.
Well, thank you so much for your time today. I do appreciate, like I said before I started recording, it's a Friday evening for you already. So I do appreciate your time, and I'm almost surprised by your Idol T-shirt. I thought I was also gonna get the beautiful Disciples of the Watch Testament shirt that you've been wearing for so many interviews. In the laundry right now?
Yeah, I mean, I collect vintage T-shirts. I have a couple of hundreds of them, so I have like tons of stuff like that. I think it's so fun. Are they in the laundry? Some are in the laundry now. Some are not. We're asking about the Idol shirt that I'm wearing. That's a side gig that I have. I work with like Swedish Idol as a sound engineer, and
Awesome.
yeah, I was just working out, so I just like pulled this out of the whatever.
There you go.
Like, yeah.
90s, late 90s Testament, underrated?
If you're talking about the Gathering album, that's nothing that I like. No. It sounds a little bit like they want to be a death metal band or something. I don't even like death metal, so that's, you know,
Yeah.
I love Testament when they were super melodic, had tons of, you know, like modulations and like key changes and extreme guitar playing, not when they're blast beating and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
but it's a matter of taste, I guess. Yeah.
I guess they were looking for their identity at that time to stay relevant for the big return of thrash metal.
It's probably great for them, because I think they were somehow they were seen relevant again, if I remember correctly. I remember when that album came out in was that like 99 or something, perhaps? Yeah, in contrast to Metallica and Megadeth, who wimped out like long ago. They made like a brutal album, so it was like the I mean, fair play.
There you go. Awesome. Well, I mean, we're obviously not here, although I feel like you could do that for hours and hours, but we're not here to talk about other bands.
Dude, I'm a huge metal fan in general, and that's what I dedicated my life to. So I got a lot to say about like different bands, different eras of different bands, different like pressings of different albums, and you know, I'm a total nerd.
You say that you're a bit of an encyclopedia, so forget all the Testaments and the Megadeths, but what forgotten or never discovered gem that you are massively enthusiastic about that most metalheads don't know about? What should they check out?
Oh, where do I even start? But probably one of the bands that I mention in this, when people ask me this question, is a Swedish melodic heavy metal band called Alien, that put out a self-titled album in 1988. Who's like that is like among the best music I've ever listened to. They kind of almost made it, but also they didn't make it. They sound a little bit like you would like early Europe, very melodic, very vocally driven, and very like chorus driven melodic heavy metal. I think they're absolutely great.
Let's continue down that path slightly while still talking a little bit about yourself and your band.
We can talk about myself. That's fine. That's why I'm here eventually.
At the end of the day, that is true. Yeah. We're here to promote your stuff. But you guys are one of the flag bearers, let's say, of Swedish metal that in some way has a big retro influence into it. what is it in Sweden specifically? Because there doesn't seem to be another country in the world where that is so prevalent. Like, obviously, we've got you guys in Ambush and Screamer in the more melodic heavy metal, speed metal side of things. But if we break it open, we've got Blue Spills, Lucifer, Sienna Root, we've got Ghost, we've got even First Aid Kit. There seems to be a massive interest with people from Sweden that were not necessarily born already in the 60s and the 70s, that are massively influenced by 70s, 80s. Is there an explanation for that? Why it's so popular in Sweden?
I think like music is very popular in Sweden, and that it's a really common. I think there's two sides of this question. And first of all, music is very popular. It's like among my generation, that would be something that you would do, and a lot of people would like dedicate themselves to music in a young age. And I think because of that, we in Sweden have like a certain like social security system. It makes it possible for Swedish like young adults to go for a career in music without having to risk your life doing
Right.
so. And I think that's probably the biggest explanation why there are so many like semi-professional bands from Sweden, because if shit's not working out, it's not a big deal. You just do something else,
Right.
I think that's it. And speaking about like whatever, like also what you're coming back to your question a little bit more. I think that I call this like the new wave of rock, or the new wave of metal, which basically, and for me, it's not a Swedish movement, it's a global movement, and it includes like people from our generation, people who are born in like the 80s, late 70s, early 90s, perhaps, making music that you're grown up with. And I can include bands, or not even bands, but movements like retro thrash movement, retro heavy metal movement,
Right.
like the 70s rock revival movement, old school death metal movement, old school this movement. That's just like a major resurgence of bands taking things back to the roots. And I think that's somehow connected, and it's kind of connected together, because it's our generation who makes everything like all this happen.
In hopeless desperation, I remember times that gone.
The nostalgia that is in music in general, definitely in metal, all the subgenres that you just referenced, and obviously also title for the new album and one of the singles. But are you also a nostalgic person, as in you guys, you're no longer the newest band around, you yourself got now a back catalog, you've got a story, you're starting to get more and more milestones. Are you somebody that likes to take a step back and celebrate those milestones, or are you more like, what, I like the nostalgia in the music, but I want to look forward?
I always look forward. I don't see that the purpose with this album is not to like look back on music that once was, or look back at culture perhaps that once was. The meaning in this, in the way I see this, is like just a reflection of the passing of time, and the reflection of that everything that the passing of time consumes everything, changes and destroys everything what's around us, and there's absolutely nothing we can do about that.
Nostalgia.
Can you celebrate that you went on that journey on your own terms? And the reason why I ask is the song Nostalgia, and I don't know if that's just me projecting and seeing ghosts, but a couple of nods to My Way from Frank Sinatra in that song. Is there a lot of feeling, or no?
I've heard people refer to that. I heard other people refer to other songs. Somebody mentioned the theme from The Incredible Hulk, but I mean, obviously we didn't really think about any of that, you know. Maybe it's just like I can't hear that because I heard My Way, but I don't see really the resemblance. Maybe if I really push myself to see the resemblance, eventually what inspires you is like what you hear inside your head when you listen to like a beat or like a riff or like a melody, and the melody that comes to your mind is always your association to something, and your association is built upon everything what you heard before in your life. So there's actually no originality. I mean, everything is from the back of your brain based upon something that you heard before, even if it's just a snippet of a series of tones, or if it's like a bar of music, or if it's like 4 bars of music. So it's hard not to do something that, you know, that is completely original. If you were trying to make things that was completely original, then nobody would like it, because nobody would be able to associate what you hear to something that they know since before either. Because that's eventually also why you appreciate music, is because you can associate what you hear to something that feels familiar with you in the back of your head.
This album feels to me like an epic Enforcer setlist, but on a studio album. It kind of feels like a live show.
Yeah, that's kind of how we saw it too. You know, we wanted to make songs that summarized our sound and our career somehow, and also where all the songs would be able to stand alone as singles from an album on its own, as well as playing a part of the entirety. Previous albums have been a little bit more like we've been really focusing on the entirety of the album and making songs that, you know, almost like we knew even before we started to make a song what kind of song it would be in the context of the album. But that's not the case this time. It's just like we just gave each and every song all the focus that we could, and didn't care about that at all.
So when you're thinking about playing live, you mentioned earlier, like, hey, you know, everybody relates to something because it connects with them. Could be something that they've listened to before or experienced before. That also means in a very, you know, straightforward way, when people come to your show that have been fans for quite some time, they come with a wish list of songs from your entire back catalog, but you now sit on this album where, to your point, it is already such a diverse journey, if you will, with through Enforcer. You could say, well, screw that, I want to play all these songs, and you might how are you thinking about that? Like, are you right now already losing sleep about which songs are you going to play, which can you not play? Are you gonna go full Iron Maiden and play a whole album front to back? Like, what's going through your mind?
I think that the songs that we play live is the result of years of trial and error to see what songs that works better and which doesn't work. That's basically what it's about. I mean, I would like to play new songs live, but I also can't neglect the fact that a lot of fans, most of the fans that come to see us, have a relation to our entire back catalog, and no album that I would do could measure to 5 full-length albums over a period of almost 20 years, and a lot of, you know, so I think that like can you say, like, the brand Enforcer and everything what's in our back catalog is way bigger than any new album we ever could make. Also, like, how this new album lands. Maybe people don't like it at all. Maybe it's just like, maybe they listen to it once and then just start listening to the old songs. We don't know that. We don't know how, even though the reactions have been great, but we don't know how long these songs will stay with the fans. So you know, so we'll see how that looks in if like people are absolutely ecstatic about this new album. I could even go as far as playing the entire album front to back, if that's what people want to hear.
Right.
But eventually it's gonna, like, you gotta fill in, I guess, what people want to hear.
as you are, getting ready to play all these shows, and there's a lot that involved, and new merch, documents, planning, whatever. Are you somebody, because you are so passionate about metal, and you could talk about the details of any band? Have you also archived your own journey that way? Like, do you still have all the posters of the shows 15 years ago and all that kind of stuff? Is that something that you collect for yourself as well?
Not all of it, but I have my share. I've saved, hold on to certain things, and but not everything, obviously.
Well, I hope that a lot of beautiful new additions to your collection will come your way with all the promotion around this new album, which you were mentioning earlier, like, oh, we'll see what the reaction of the fans. I think that so far, I don't think I've seen such uniformly positive, one-sided reactions to a release of Enforcer. So you definitely hit a lot of those chords and memories and feelings very well.
It's been from our previous fans. This has been like very, very well received. But what it's eventually gonna be about, it's not about that. It's about how many new fans we can make from this. Because growth is something that is crucial to a band. If you stop growing, that's the end. That's going to be the end of the band. Because fans leave all the time, and you want to have a positive surplus. So
hey, there are now people that have been fan of you long enough to have their own children by now, and so that way they will also help multiply the fans. I'm sure. Olof, I want to be respectful of your time, and I'm going to give you some time back on your Friday evening. But I do appreciate you being flexible and taking time to answer some of my questions. And I genuinely hope that we get to see you announce many more shows. And I'll keep my fingers crossed for many new songs on the set list.
Awesome, man.
You are awesome for watching this video. Click right here to see more content like it and subscribe to the channel.